What's good, YouTube? It's your What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. I got a little choked up in the beginning of this because I'm gonna give you the final prediction and fight prediction that I was privy to learn from the late, great, legendary, my brother, Kurt Anderson, aka Kurt Sugar, aka the historian, aka my brother, my co-host, Kurt Anderson. This was a fight that Kurt Anderson had been anticipating, had been wanting to see, had been waiting to see. If anybody was familiar with Kurt Anderson, Kurt Sugar, aka the historian, you know he was a throwback fighter type of fight fan, type of boxing pundit. And he loved whom he deemed to be the greatest fighter he's ever seen in Sugar Ray Robinson, the late, great, legendary, iconic Hall of Fame superstar Sugar Ray Robinson. His favorite fighter of Kurt Anderson. A library Kurt Anderson transition. He was a library. A historian, to say the least. And this fight, this undefeated, undisputed welterweight showdown, this mega throwback type of fight for Kurt Anderson and the world. There may be a lot of young folks that are not familiar with the sport of boxing in its early days, right? Well, the sport of boxing had a legend, a historian by the name of Kurt Anderson. But he was a throwback type of fight fan, like I said. And many fight fans today are not familiar with the Sugar Ray Robinsons, Sugar Ray Leonards, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, Wilfredo Benitez, Aaron Pryor, the Hawk. These are fighters that Kurt cherished and loved. And this undefeated, undisputed welterweight showdown between an undefeated 3-division world champion, former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford, who has a record of 39 wins, no loss, and no draw. 30 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, as he's going to take on the undefeated unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not #1, definitely top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has a record of 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence is a natural southpaw, fundamentally sound, big, strong, physical, extremely high work rate, extremely high ring IQ. Terence Crawford is the ultimate throwback fighter. Terence Crawford switches from southpaw to orthodox. Terence Crawford has power in both hands, Terence Crawford has only went the distance 3 times since becoming a world champion in 2014. And in the welterweight division, every opponent he's faced, he has stopped or knocked out. And so this is the highly anticipated, the biggest fight in 40 years, in my opinion, and in Kurt's opinion, since Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, 1981, September 16th, which was a Tuesday. Undisputed Showdown. It was a 2-belt era, WBA and WBC belts. And Kurt cherished that. And we lost Kurt. He transitioned before he got the opportunity to see this fight. This is the fight he wanted to see. Between this fight and the fight between, at the time, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua for Undisputed in the heavyweight division. Those are the fights Kurt cherished. Now, he cherished the sport of boxing overall, but those 2 fights in particular. He didn't get to see either one. But he's shining down and watching. And so with that said, I was privy to be able to pull out this information from Kurt. For a long time, I couldn't get the information who he thought was going to win this fight. He used to tell me it was 50-50. Man, 50-50 fight. But I know who I think is going to win. Then he would say, I know who is going to win. Now, things have changed slightly since then. Errol Spence suffered a horrific eye injury, broken and detached retina. Errol Spence has been inactive. Errol Spence has fought a total of 2 times since 2019 in 4 years. Since Sean Porter fight. Well, if you include Sean Porter's 3 fights in 4 years. Not very active, and he had some major injuries. He suffered that horrific car accident in 2019. And he suffered that eye injury. So with that said, Kurt Anderson, a historian, this is a throwback fight for him. This is a fight where Kurt was super excited because he said the rubber was going to meet the road and we was going to get action. No doubt, hands down, we was going to get action. There was no doubt that this was going to live up to the billing. He had 0 doubts that this was going to live up to the billing. He said there's going to be multiple knockdowns in this fight. He feel like Terence Crawford going to knock down Errol Spence, and Errol Spence going to knock down Terence Crawford. But he was very precise in who he thought was going to win this fight. And if you know anything about Kurt Anderson, he always tells you about rhythmic and perpetual movement within the squared circle. He's always been telling me rhythmic and perpetual movement within the squared circle wins you fights. And ultimately, the legend, Kurt Anderson, he favored the rhythmic and perpetual movement, athletic ability, the twitchiness of Terence Bud Crawford. And he said Terence Bud Crawford is going to win this fight. And he sees Terence Bud Crawford winning by the 8th, 7th, 8th round stoppage. So the late, great, legendary Kurt Anderson, his pick was blue. I said, Kurt, I watched Yuriorkis Gamboa hurt Terence Crawford. I said, Kurt, I watched Amir Khan get knocked out, but at times, I thought Terence Crawford was slightly off with his accuracy. I watched Igis Kavalauskas hurt and buzz Terence Crawford, unofficially drop him in that fight. I watched Kell Brook, his jab, give Terence Crawford problems consistently and give him a shiner. And he said, blue. Errol Spence he doesn't have the rhythmic and perpetual movement, the twitchiness to keep up with Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford makes adjustments. And those mistakes that you see him making, Blue, that Errol Spence makes, in that no man's land area, as I call it, he gets hit. Errol Spence gets hit. We saw that with Yordenis Ugas. But Errol Spence, he broke Yordenis Ugas' ribs, nose, and orbital bone in the decision. But ultimately, that fight between Shawn Porter and Errol Spence, that let Kurt Anderson know everything he needed to know. The fight between Errol Spence and Shawn Porter. The twitchiness, the athletic ability, the movement of Shawn Porter gave Errol Spence tons and tons of problems. He just simply didn't have the power and the skill set to capitalize. And Kurt felt like those punches that Shawn Porter landed on Errol Spence, they would have landed from Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford stops Errol Spence. So there you have this extremely hard breakdown for me to tell you guys and do this, because it's a conversation that we had that we can no longer have. Me and Kurt can't have a conversation post-fight. Me and Kurt can't do a fight breakdown. Me and Kurt can't call this fight, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. We can't do it. We can't do it together. I know he's watching. I know he sees it. But it's extremely hard. So Kurt Anderson's final prediction, he didn't set in stone it's going to be the 7th round or the 8th round. But he just said it's going to be either one of those rounds, 7th or 8th round stoppage victory for Terence Bud Crawford to become a 2-division undisputed world champion. Now, at the time this was talked about, me and Kurt, it wasn't being talked about for undisputed because Errol Spence didn't have Yordenis Ugas' WBA title. So with that said, now it's for undisputed. It was a unification bout when we talked about it. So he eventually thought Terence Crawford would be undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, but he didn't know it would be this Errol Spence fight that would make him the undisputed 2-division world champion. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. You already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.